Hello there, and welcome to a quick overview video of the Coretime CRM module. So just to give you a bit of a steer about what it's all about, Coretime CRM is a tool to improve both sales and customer service. So from a sales management point of view, it's designed to help with pipeline management, tracking things from those initial inquiries all the way through to fulfillment, be it a sale or a loss of a sale. But it also helps with customer service because it's got full task management, communication tracking. So you can put in tasks and reminders against people to follow things up, contact customers on a certain day, making sure the ball isn't dropped on anything. And it also helps with things like information management. So you can file documents and emails against projects and clients and contacts within Coretime so that everybody can share and collaborate on that information. And of course, if somebody goes missing or they're absent from work for a while, people can pick up other people's activities seamlessly. It's all fully integrated into Coretime, so we're not talking about joining in an external system and then having to worry about information exchanges between those two platforms. This is all baked into Coretime as you know it. And as a result of that, it's simple to use. It's easy for people to pick up because it's working within a framework and an infrastructure and an environment that they're used to. So we're just talking about a few extra fields here, some extra screens, and they're up and running. And on top of that, obviously all the data is already there. So it's just adding to the projects and clients that you've already got in the system. You're just fleshing out those records. So anyway, that's enough about talking about it. Let's have a look at what it actually looks like. We're now in a demo instance of Coretime, which has got that CRM module turned on. First thing you just need to be aware of is that there are some new user permissions that go alongside that module. So if you go into the user profile here, you can see there's an extra section about CRM down here where you can limit certain people to certain functions. So for example, if you only want them to have view-only access, that's a facility there. If they don't manage a team and they don't need to see other people's tasks, then you'd untick that box. So there's some new permissions that you need to be aware of. And of course, there are some new screens that come along with that module. So the main one that I'm just going to focus on first in and around sales management is you do get a pipeline view within Coretime. So if I just bring up this view here, you can see these are all the inquiries or the sales that I've got in flight at the moment, and they're broken down by these different parts of a pipeline, which I can define and you can define to suit. So you can have as many stages as you want in that pipeline. And each one of these stages is drillable, so you can filter view based on the opportunities at each one of those stages. What you're seeing on the top right there are forecasted values based on the sum total of these opportunities, but also a weighting as well is there if you want to. So if you want to take those values and apply some sort of percentage loading to them based on the likelihood that they're going to close, the system will do that for you and produce a more realistic forecast. Each one of these is drillable, so you can update this entry by clicking on it if you need to move it down the pipe, or you need to find out, how long it's been sat on that particular part of the journey. You can see that from here and amend it from here. So that's one of the new screens. Where's it driving this information from? Well, if we go into a project record, you can see some extra entities that you need to be aware of. So if I go into the project details screen, the analysis group has this new opportunity status field in here, which is similar to what we've just been looking at there. And these are all those parts in that pipeline where you're flagging at which point in the journey is this project at. So you would just create a project as normal, but you'd flag it as an inquiry type project, maybe give it a different number, and then use this opportunity status to follow its journey from start to finish. And as I say, you can see how long it's spent at each point in that pipeline just by clicking on that button there. Other things that it's reading from will be due dates in this area here, and of course things like the projection on the value, which is in that fees area there. So it brings all of that information together and throws it onto that pipeline screen so you can see what potential deals are coming down the tracks for you. So in terms of other new entities that you see within the Coretime CRM module, you'll see these communication tabs throughout the system. They exist at the client level, the project level, and the contact level. The key thing to be aware of is if you're in at the project level, what you are seeing here are all communication notes and reminders about that project. So it could be against multiple contacts, but the common denominator is the project. If I went into the contact record and I say went into Helen, you can see there's a communication tab here, but that is just communications that we're having with her. So it excludes anybody that's talking to Henry, her colleague there. but again, it's linked into that particular project. If I go out to the client level, you see also we have a communications tab there, but that rolls everything together. So it could be multiple projects, multiple contacts, and you're seeing every interaction between my organization and that particular client. But you file it once and it goes into the appropriate area and then rolls up to the client level. And you can see there, same as we've got new communication tabs, we've also got new documents tabs in there as well. So if you want to upload documents into Coretime, you can do so. You can see here there's a mixture of files, and all you need to do is click on that particular icon there to retrieve it, and then you can see it's going to surface that particular document straight to my machine. It's as simple as adding a document there, browsing to where it exists, and then moving it into the Coretime database. We also offer an Outlook plugin, which means you can file emails directly from Outlook into here. The body of the email goes into the communications. If there's any documents that were in that email, they will automatically get it. The attachments will automatically go into the documents area without any intervention by yourself. So the good thing about this communications area is, of course, you can record notes, but you can also put in reminders to do things. So here's the date popping up. I say, look, there's a to-do that I need to either set for myself and that's everybody else that's in the Coretime system, of course. So I want to maybe set a reminder myself to contact Helen to follow up a quote. And you can put in some notes in there if you wanted to as well to further flesh out what you need to do. So it goes in on this communications tab, but then it also goes into a task list. So this is how you pick up what you've got on, what you've got outstanding, what you need to be doing, what you need to be following up. And you can see here now, there it's gone in alongside all the other things that I need to be doing. It's the date I need to do it, the clients it's for, the project it's about, the contact I need to be speaking to, and there's the notes that I just bashed in there. And of course, you mark them either complete, or you maybe then say, right, okay, from this task list, rather than having to go back into that project and change that reminder, I can do it from within here and say, look, it's actually not due until such and such a date, or I might decide, well, you know what, I'm going to allocate it to somebody else because I don't have time to do it. And it moves off my task list and goes on to somebody else's. Because I've got that team task function turned on, I can see everybody else's tasks, but they might not every user might have that. So if you do need to manage a team and you need to see what else they've got coming up, or somebody's away and you need to pick up their tasks on their behalf, you can see it through that team tasks area. And filter it by employee or employee groups or whatever you want. So that's all in there as well. If we just drill back into that project record, just a couple of other things to point out to you. If you go into those contacts, you'll see that we have GDPR notes, so we can keep a track of our data and make sure it's compliant, that are signed up to our communications. And by means of communications, of course, you could then start to extract data from this system using these new custom contact analysis groups. So you could say, look, this contact is interested in X, Y, or Z, and you can get a group of those people out and export it off to a marketing communication platform to do some communications outside of Coretime. So that's a very, very brief overview of some of the new fields that are available in the Coretime CRM module. Hope you found it useful. If you need to know more, please get in touch.